All right, Shalom, Shalom. It's Brother Yatazadak here of Israel. I'd like to start off by giving all honor and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakakwadash, double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. Today we're going to go into Proverbs chapter 20, going into the Hebrew. So Lord willing, you're edified. And as always, giving all honor and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakakwadash, double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. Let's get right into it. Proverbs chapter 20, verse 1, and it reads, wine is a mocker, and strong drink causes to rage, and all error comes of it. They will not be wise. Lataza Hayayan Hama Shakar Wakal Shaga Bawa La'a Yakam Yahakam. Right? So wine is a mocker, right? Strong drink, Salakia, that word Hama means to disquiet, right? And all error, right, Shaga, comes of it, right? They will not be wise. Proverbs chapter 20, verse 2. Like a young lion that is disquieted, so is the terror of a king. And he who provokes him will sin, has sinned unto his soul. Nahama ka kapior ayamath malak mata ibarwa khata'a napashwa. Right? Because that word hama means to disquiet. Kapior, that is a young lion. Ayama means terror, right? When it says Mata Ibarwa, right? Meaning he that goes in above and beyond, right? As in to provoke. Will sin add sin into his soul, right? Because a young lion that is disquieted, what? Makes rash decisions, right? So is the terror of a king, right? Because a young cub is not taught to hunt properly, right? It's not taught to control its senses, its emotions when dealing with the prey, right? So a young cub is going to act rashly, right? As in, it's not going to think of its actions, right? So that's what it's talking about. Proverbs chapter 20 and verse 3. The honor of a man is to cease from contention. Kabad la ayash Shabbath Marayab. Shabbath meaning to cease, hence the Sabbath day, right? The day of rest, right? Kabad means to honor, right? And all that are ungodly, they will meddle, right? As in they'll meddle in strife, right? Because if you fear Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, you're gonna fear the Lord and cease from contention, right? You don't want to add sin into your soul, right? Salakia. So it says, Wakal Awayal Yatha Galai. The word Galai means to meddle, right? In winter, the slothful, Proverbs 20:4. In winter, the slothful will not plow, and will inquire in the time of harvest, and they will find nothing, right? Maharap, Itazal, La'a, Yaharash, Wa Sha'al, Ba Quatazayar, Wa Ayan. So that word harap means cold or winter, right? It also means to blaspheme. The word harash means to plow, right? Salaki. The word itazal means to be slothful. Sha'al means to inquire. Quatazayar means to harvest, right? The root word is quatazar, meaning to cut off, right? And you have a saying in the world that the early bird gets the worm, right? Proverbs chapter 20, verse 5. Deep waters is the counsel in the heart of man, and a man of understanding will draw it out. Says Mayim, Imakim, Itaza, Bala Bayash, Wa Ayash, Tabawana, Yadalna, right? Because that word Imak means deep, right? As in a steep place, right? A low valley. Let's look at that word, Yadalna. Strong's H 1802, right? Dala. Dala means what? To hang down, to be pendulous. It says the Arabic Dala, use the branches hanging down, right? To make, to hang down, to let down. A bucket into a well to draw water, right? So that word Dala means to hang down, right? In the sense of hanging down a bucket into a well and drawing out waters, right? Dala, to draw water. To pull up, the Arabic says Dala. Pull up, bucket. Let down, hang down, right? So it literally means to hang down, but it also means to draw, right? Or draw out, lift up, in that sense. Right? So a man's counsel is in his mind, right? Scriptures say to prove your own work, right? Prove that which is good and bad for you. Proverbs chapter 20 and verse 6. Many men have called a man pious, and a man faithful, who shall find him, right? So there are those that make themselves to seem righteous, right? But the scriptures say you will know a man by his fruits, meaning by his works, by his actions, right? Rab Adam Ya Kwara'a Ayash Hasadwa Wa Ayash Amawanyam Maya Ya Mataza'a, right? Proverbs chapter 20, verse 7. He who walks in his integrity, right, where his sincerity is righteous, happy will be his children after him. Matha halak ba thamawa tazadayak shorya banyawa horyawa. Right, because that word thama means to be sincere, right? Integrity, right? Like it says in the book of Genesis, right? That Jacob was a simple man, right? A man wholesome, of integrity, right? Scripture says that Israel is a former of all things, right? They are not like these other nations, right? Let's get that real quick. Precept. Alright, let's get that real quick. Is that just a lot of kids, bear with me. Alright. I believe it's in the book of Jeremiah. Right. Let's see. Jeremiah 51:19. The portion of Jacob is not like them, for he is the former of all things, and Israel is the rod of his inheritance. The Lord of hosts is his name, right? So the portion of Jacob, right? We are not like the other nations. We have a different spirit on us, right? Because the Lord set us apart, right? Made us different, right, from others. So that word asharya, right? Ashar just means to be happy, contentful, right? For example, you say Happy Hanukkah, right? Would be Ashar Hanukkah, right? Proverbs chapter 20 and verse 8. The king dwells upon the throne of judgment and scatters with his eyes all evil, or Salakia, and scatters before his eyes all evil, right? Malak Yashab al Kasa'a Dayan Mazara Ba Ayanyawa Kal Raya, right? Kasad means throne. Dayan means judge. Yashab means to dwell. Zerah means to scatter, right? Which is where you get the word zerai, meaning seed, right? Or to sow seed, right? Salakia. Proverbs chapter 20 and verse 9. Who has said, I am pure of heart? Salakia. Who has said, I am pure of heart, and I am clean, cleansed from my sins, right? Maya Amar Zakaya Thaya Labia Taharathia Ma Hataathia, right? Because that word zakah means to be pure, right? Clear, right? As in clear liquid, right? Tahar meaning to be clean, right? Or to be cleansed, right? So who can really say, right, they are of a pure heart and cleansed from their sin? No one, right? Let's get a precept. All right. I believe that's in the book of Ecclesiastes. Let's get that real quick. Slack it, just bear with me. Ecclesiastes. That's not it. Ecclesiastes chapter 7 verse 20. For there is not a just man upon the earth that doeth good and sinneth not. Right? So nobody is pure from sin, right? We all go off, right? And I've seen certain Sakari videos where Priest Salazar says, yes, I'm free of sin because I keep the law. When that's not correct. The law was given to show you things that the Lord accepts and things that the Lord considers an abomination, right? Which is why you walk in the spirit of the law, right? But nobody can say they're pure and cleansed of sin, right? Just because you're keeping the law does not make you free from sin, right? That's just a natural fact, right? Proverbs chapter 20 and verse 10. A stone and a stone, a measure and a measure is an abomination unto the Lord, even both of them. Aban wa aban, ayapa wa ayapa, ta ibath Yahweh, gum shan yaham. Right? Aban meaning the stone. Ayap is an actual measure called an epath, but is translated as a measure, generally speaking. Ta'ibah is an abomination, right? So when you have a stone and a stone, that is a false weight, because in the ancient world you would have one stone, one measure, right? Because if you carried this, the law says not to have diverse weights. Why? Because you had a standard, a weight that you would use when conducting business transactions, right? So that just deals with having a standard, right? Or having standards, right? Plural. Which is equal weights and measures, right? Not waving to and fro. Proverbs chapter 20 and verse 11. Even when he is revisited, he make himself strange, the child, right? Gam ba ma ilal yawa yatha nakar nayar, right? The word ilal means to revisit. Nakar means a stranger or something strange, right? It also means to acknowledge. Nayar means a young man or boy, right? This is talking about a child being constantly, right, looked after, chastised, right? Every time, right, he makes himself strange, as in he acts like it was the first time, right, that he did it, right? Why? Because a child is at the age, right, where he doesn't understand, right, discipline, right? He doesn't have a manner of discipline, right? So it says, if he be pure, and if he be upright, so shall be his doings, right? Am zakah wa am yashar pael wa, right? Because that's what a child is, right? A child is pure from corruption, right? Because the mind is still developing, right? But when you introduce corruption into your child's mind at an early age, right, it corrupts the natural growth, right, of a young man, right? It rottens the brain. But this is speaking about if he's brought up the right way, right? In the way of pureness, of righteousness, his doings will be pure. Right? So it's basically saying you're going to deal with a child, right? And he's going to have a child's mind. But if you deal with him, right, in a pure manner, his ways will be pure and correct, right? That's what yashar means. Upright, correct, acceptable, right? Payel means to do or a doing, right? Salakia. Proverbs chapter 20, verse 12. The ear heareth, and the eye seeth, and the Lord has made even both of them. It says, Azan Shamaitha Wa Ayan Ra'a Yahweh Aisha Gum Shanyahum. Because the Lord hears, right? Or Salakia, the eye is made to hear. Right, Salakia, the eye is made to see and the ear to hear. Yahweh Shem Yahushai created both of them. Right? Proverbs chapter 20, verse 13. Do not love sleep, lest you lack. Open your eyes, you will be satisfied with bread, right, or food, right? Al Tha'ahab Shana, right? When you see al, sometimes it means to or towards, or it says it means to not, right? Do not love sleep. You have to know according to the context, right? The word pan means less, right? Lest you be angry, right? Lest you be sad, right? Lest you stray out of the way, right? But in this case, it says lest you lack, right? Rosh or rawash, right, means to be lack in the sense of being poor or impoverished. Pakwak means to open the eyes, or something that is opened in the sense of an understanding that is revealed, right? Because the word for open is pathach, right? Shabai, to be satisfied, laham, bread or food. Now let's look at that word shana. Proverbs 20 and 13. Right? Let's get that real quick. Just go ahead and type it in. Proverbs 20 and 13. Shana, to sleep. The root is yashan, right? To sleep, a dream. Sleep. It says to be languid, weary. To fall asleep, right? The Arabic says wasan, to begin to sleep, to slumber. It says sanath, the beginning of sleep. As to sleep itself, they commonly use the verb na'am, which in the Hebrew is nawam, meaning to slumber. Right? In a sense, a deep sleep. Right? hibernation. So the Aramaic says shantha, shantha, right? To sleep. Arabic wasan, to be sleepy, right? Now, see what else. Pakwach, right? Because you'll read this in the law, right? Strong's H6491, right? Pakwach, to open, especially with the eyes. To open one's eyes open. Open the eyes. The Arabic says pakwach, blossom, to open the eyes. Jewish Aramaic, pakwach, open the eyes. Pakwach, Syriac, blossom, which in the Hebrew is parach, as in to bloom. Tazayah, tazah, meaning to blossom. It says to open, figuratively, the senses, especially the eyes. Figuratively, to be observant, open. Right? So you can compare that with Nagad, right? Something that is present or made present, as in revealed, or to be in the presence of one, right? Pakwach, right? Proverbs chapter 20 and verse 14. Bad, bad. It is bad, says the buyer. And afterwards it is spent. Afterwards he has spent it unto him. Then he is praised. He praises himself. Right? Raya, Raya, Ya Amar, Hakwana, Wa Azal, Lawa, Az, Thach, Yathach Halal. Right? The word Kwana means to buy or to possess. Azal means to spend. Right? You can spend money, or you can, right? This goes into, I believe, sewing. Right? When you spent the yarn is spent. Right? So this is essentially going into one that bargains, right? Gets a good deal, and then he either got a good deal, or he's buying something to sell it, and he made a profit off of it, right? So basically, there's a way to bargain, right? But not all bargains are good bargains, right? This is going into the swindler, right? Who deceives and says, no, this is bad, this is not good quality, right? And he tries to get the price lowered down, right? Price is lowered, right? Then afterwards he says, I got him, right? So this is a proverb of a swindler, the proverb of a swindler. Now let's look at that word azal. That word az means then, right? Then he says, then he goes, right? Proverbs 20:14. Salakia. Azal, Strong's H235. To roll, to spin, from the idea of rolling. Not necessarily, because that word hawal means to spin, right? The Arabic izal is izal, something spun, right? To roll off, to go away, to depart. Azal, to separate, the Arabic says, to take away, right? Azal, to go. Azal, to go away, to disappear. It says, yarn that is gone or spent, right? So it literally means to spin, right? Or to roll, right? So let's see, right? Deuteronomy 32:36, right? That word spent is in that precept. Fail, Job 14:11, right? As the waters are spent from the sea, and the flood decayeth and dried up, right? Jeremiah 2:36, why spentest thou thyself so much to change thy way? Thou shalt also be ashamed of Egypt, as thou wast ashamed of Assyria, right? Azal, to be spent, right? And is also in the sense of to spin yarn, right? Proverbs chapter 20:15. There is gold and much jewels, right? And instruments precious. And the instrument precious are the lips of knowledge, right? Yasha, Zahab, Warab, Panyanayim, Wakalia, Yaquar, Shapathia, Dayath. Right? So that word Panyan, which is the root, it means jewel. Right? Like Jake says in the world, right? The face of a watch, right? Just signifies, right, a jewel. Yaquar, right, is something precious, right? Which the root is quawar, right, meaning to dig, right? Because what do you do with a jewel, right? You cut it, right, according to its design. So let's take a look at that. Proverbs 20 and 15, right? Strong's H6443. Panyan, right? Or plural would be panyanayam. Says corals, a precious stone, rubies, jewels, right? From panya, meaning face, right? Which is the center of a piece of jewelry, right? The center of the design, the face of the piece, right? Whether it be a watch or a ring, the jewel is the face of that piece. Panyan. All right, says pearl. Let's look up pearl because I'm pretty sure it was something else for the pearl. The word for pearl is gabiash, right? Because that word gab means back. Yasha means something that is made, right? Because where do you get your pearls? From the back, right, of an oyster, right? Or wherever the hell you get it from. It comes from the sea, right? That is where pearls are harvested. Let's look at that word yaquar. So pearl, gabiash, jewels, panyan. See, if you don't practice on these pronunciations, right, you're not going to understand the words that you're reading, and you're not going to be able to piece together these more complicated words, right? Which is why it's always good to review, right? Retrace, compare, contrast. Yaquar, Strong's H3366, right? Yaquar, preciousness, costliness, a precious vessel. Salakia. It's 2:30 in the morning. Price, honor, right? Just means something precious, right? Uh, the Syriac says acquire, glory. Value, wealth, dignity, honor, precious, price, right? Just means something precious, right? Um, Proverbs chapter 20 and 16. Take his garment, because he has pledged with an alien, and even upon a strange woman, bind it, right? Laquach, Bagadwa, Kaya, Arab, Zar, Wa Ba'id, Nakarya, Chabalwa, right? Laquach means to take, Bagad is a garment, Arab means surety or a pledge, Zar means an alien, Ba'id, right? It just Ba meaning in, Ad meaning even, right? But in this case, it's reversed. It would be even upon. When you read it, the car, right? I'll run over that already. Cabal, to bind, right? So you got certain Eves out there, right? That they do certain business, right? And that's why, right? If you give all your living in onto a harlot, right? You're gonna be spent, right? Financially. Back in the ancient days, right? Men would give a pledge, like you read about that in Genesis, right? Judah made a pledge, right, to Tamar, right, which he didn't know was Tamar, right, but she dressed as a harlot. So he pledged his signet ring, right, and a staff. Right, so this proverb is just saying, right, you make a pledge with a stranger, right, or someone you don't know, because that's what zar means, an alien, right, or even a strange woman, right, like a harlot, right, you're gonna get got. Proverbs chapter 20 and 17. A pledge unto a man is like the bread of deceit, and afterwards he will fill his mouth with gravel. Arab la ayash lacham shakwar wa achar ya mala payawa hataza taza. Right, that word hataza taza means gravel. Right, shakwar meaning falsehood. Right. This is another proverb on the swindler, right? Because a swindler seeks to take a pledge, right? In this case, a loan shark, right? they'll, you know, um, give you a certain trust or surety, right? But they do that because they know they're going to, right, be able to maybe hike up the interest, right? And afterward, he will be filled with gravel, right? Um, Basically, they're going to eat the fruit of their doings, right? Any swindler, right? Loan sharks, right? Eventually, right? They get caught out there, right? Proverbs chapter 20 and verse 18. That which is imagined in counsel will be prepared, and in binding it will be made. So shall it be done in battle. Ba chashabath, ba aitaza, tha kawan, waba, tha chabalath, aisha, ba lachama. Right, the word chashab, right, means to devise something, an imagination, right? Kawan means to prepare. Kabal means to bind, right? Proverbs 20 and 19, right? He who removes a foundation goeth about up and down as a talebearer, right? Gala, Sawad, Halak, Rakial, right? Gala means to remove, right? Salakia. Sawad meaning foundation, right? Because there's no foundation in a talebearer. Rakal, right, means to go up and down, right? It's also known as a salesman, door-to-door salesman. Right? And that's in the law. Thou shalt not go up and down, right? Figuratively as a talebearer. Nagaran is the actual word for a talebearer. And he who enticeth with his lips, right? Let's see, will not meddle, right? Basically, this is talking about two types of men, right? The talebearer and the flatterer, right? Because he's not there, right, to get any information out of you. He's there to flatter you, to distract you, right? That goes into phony people, right? You're laughing, but you're just it's clearly an act, right? An actor, right? It says wala patha, because that word patha means to entice. Right? Let's see if we can get anything for flatter. I think that's basically the same thing. Flatter. patha, to flatter, entice. That word Arab means to what? To mix, to mingle, right? Proverbs 20:20. He who reviles his father and his mother, his lamp will be put out. And among men, he will go into obscurity. Makwalal Abayawa Wa Amawa Yadayaka Narwa Ba Ashan Hashak. Hashak means darkness or to withhold. Right? Daika, right? That means to put out, right? A lamp, a fire, right? So basically, if you're known as someone, right, that reviles their father or their mother, right, you're going to be looked as a good for nothing, right? Proverbs 20:21. An inheritance gotten by vanity at the first. There is an inheritance gotten by vanity at the first, and afterwards it will not be blessed, right? Esau, the so-called white man, right? Raped, robbed, murdered, right? Invaded, right? The land of the Native Americans, right? Then they call it Happy Thanksgiving, right? But in the same breath, they say, let's forget about slavery. And then in the same breath, they say, let's remember 9/11, right? That's hypocrisy, right? And the Lord did not bless America, Babylon the Great. The Lord is going to destroy America, Babylon the Great, by thermonuclear fire. Thus saith the Holy Bible. Right? Simple as that. How about that? Right? So that word nakal means an inheritance. Bahal, right, literally means vapor, vanity, right? So it says, Nakhala ma bahalath ba ra'ashana wa aharyatha la'a thabarak. Proverbs 20:22. Do not say, I will recompense evil, right? Instead, right, put your hope in the Lord and he will deliver thee, right? Al Amar A Shalama Raya Kwa La Yahawah Wa Yeshai Laka, right? Because that word kwa, right, it literally means a rope, right? So it would actually read, do not say, I will recompense evil, right? Instead, right, draw unto the Lord and he will deliver thee, right? As in with a rope, right? Because what do? You pull on a rope, right? To climb upon a height, right? The Lord is in the heavens, right? Does not the Lord say, right, cleave unto me, and I will establish your ways, right? So that's in the sense of hope. The actual word for hope is chasa, ha. Salaki, chasa, ha. So figuratively, kwa would be the word for hope. Proverbs 20 and 23. It is an abomination unto the Lord. A stone and a stone, right? And the weights of deceit are not good. Ta ibath Yahweh, aban wa aban, right? You're supposed to have one measure, one stone for one measure, right? A standard. And the scales of deceit are not good, right? Ma'azan, that means a scale, a balance. Proverbs 20 and 24. From the Lord is the pace of a warrior, and a man who how will he understand his way, right? Ma Yahweh, ma Tazaadia, Kabar, wa Adam, ma Yabayan, Darakwa. Tazaad means a pace. Kabar means warrior, right? Because are not warriors trained into the battle, right? So you got to have what? Stamina, right? You got to have a pace. The Lord gives a pace. The Lord gives strength. He kills and makes alive. The word ma means how or what, because that's essentially the same thing. Just Esau complicates his language too much. Your bastard language. Really, all languages are bastard languages because the Hebrew is the pure language. Proverbs 20 and 25, right? It is a snare for a man. Or actually, did I miss something? Nope. It is a snare unto a man to swallow up that which is holy. And afterwards, after he vows, it shall be required, right? Makwash Adam Yalai Kwadash Wa Har Nadarim Labakwar. Makwash is a snare, a trap, right? That word, I believe it's Yalai. Let's get that real quick. Proverbs 20 and 25. Salakia. Let's see how many more verses we got left. All right, come on. Proverbs 20 and 25. Yalai, Strong's H32:16, it means throat, right? La'ag means a babbler, right? It says to blurt, to utter inconsiderately, to devour. Which is where you get the word balai, means to swallow up. Ba meaning in, Lai means throat, to swallow up. Yalai, right, that means throat or to swallow, which is the organ used that assists you in swallowing food, right? La'ag, right, is the babbler, right? Um, right? So you have false prophets set up in these latter days. You have false camps, false pastors, right? Their snare, right, which the Lord set them up to be destroyed, right? To deceive many, right? Because really, when you come into this truth, right, it's not necessarily a vow, right? But you're vowing to keep a way, right? Which ultimately the Lord is going to require of the false pastors, right? Their soul, meaning your life. Proverbs chapter 20 and 26. Because Elder Yashawamba says sometimes that, right, being in the truth is like taking an oath, right? But I think he meant vow, because an oath, Yahushua said, make no oath at all. Swear not by heaven or earth, right? Neither by Jerusalem, which is uh the land of the great king, which is Yahweh. Something to that effect, right? Yahweh, Yahweh Shai. Um, Proverbs 20 and 26. He will scatter the wicked, a king of wisdom, and he will turn back upon them the wheel, right? Mazarach Rashayim Malakakam Wayashab Al Yaham Apan. Zara means to scatter, right? Yashab, right? The word shab or shawab means to turn back, right? So a wise king will what? Scatter the wicked, right? Turn the wheel upon them, as in laying the law down. Proverbs 20 and 27. The lamp of the Lord, right, is the inspiration of man. To free all the chambers of the belly, right? Or to disclose all that which is in the inmost parts of the belly. Nar Yahweh, Nashamath, Adam Chapash, Kal Hadarya Batan. Nar means a lamp. Nasham means to pant, or it denotes inspiration. Chapash means to be free, or to free, right? Or to, in a sense, revealing, right? But it just means to free, right? Revealing all the innermost things of the belly, right? Which is the word, right? We cutting through all false understandings, right? Through the power of Spirit of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, Ba'Shem Rakakwadash, right? Starting with our elders and apostles, a great millstone. Proverbs 20 and 28. Loving kindness and truth will defend the king and will support in piousness his throne, or slack it, and will maintain in piousness his throne, right? Chasad wa amath yatazar wa malak wa sa'ad ba chasad kasawa, right? The word tazar means to defend, right? To guard. Sa'ad means to support. Proverbs 20 and 29. The comeliness of the youth is their strength, and the glory of the elders is their age. Tha pa'arath Bacharium Kacham Wahadar Zaquanium Shayabah. Right? Bachar means something that is choice. Kach meaning strength. Hadar, glory. Zaquan, elder. It also means beard. Shayabah, right? It just means the aged, the elderly. Proverbs 20 and 30. Stripes, wounds, bruises shall be upon the evil, and will smite the innermost parts of the belly. Kabarath patazai tha morak baraya wamakath kadarya batan. Kabar meaning a stripe, right? It's like it, right? Patazai, right, means to wound. Marak is a bruise. So that is what is reserved unto the wicked, right? For the day of the Lord's wrath, right? They shall be weeping and gnashing their teeth, right? You shall see the angels of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, right, descend from the east and to the west, right? And you will see the prophets, Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, sitting in the kingdom of heaven, and you being thrust out, being 2/3 of our people, right? So let's look at that word marak. Proverbs 20 and 30. Marak, to rub, to polish, to cleanse. To score, to polish. To rinse. So with that, it's Brother Yatazadak, hero Israel. Lord willing, you're edified. It's Proverbs chapter 20. Giving all honor and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Kakwadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. Kwame Yasha Allah, Ba'al Babal Shalom.